late. 5-7 minutes, we'll try and close it out. So overall, the reason why I think this is important is that our faith or our belief that God exists is always a bit of a doubt. Isn't it, children? God exists or not, slight doubt is there, no? There is a bit of a doubt. Even for elders, full conviction that God exists is something where is still some doubt. Now, an important aspect, if you understand, there's also doubt with regard to Punarjanma. With regard to Punarjanma. What is Punarjanma? Rebirth. Right? If you are convinced about rebirth, to a large extent, you will be convinced about God also. Agreed? If there's a rebirth, then to a large extent you also get convinced about God. So rebirth also a bit of doubt. Yes or no? Whether we are born again or is it one life? ये एक जिंदगी है या हम लोग बार बार जन्म लेते हैं? That's once again a doubt. Okay. So today you had before you one child, right? This child, you remember seeing him some time back? He came and he sang a small bhajan and it was a little different. So this child is studying in standard 3 at our DAV boys Mogappair campus, and DAV boys had their presentation today, isn't it? I think all of you must be knowing him, right? So this child, it's very interesting. He is only in class 3 and his parents are also here. His parents are here. Yes, so that's his father and his mother. They come from a very typical everyday family, just like us, any one of us, right? And they are blessed to have this particular child. Now guess what? This particular child, who is only in class 3, can, if I show the next slide, you'll be quite surprised. And so was I when I got to know about it. And Principal Radha Subramani ma'am, she's also here. HM ma'am is here. And they requested me to definitely once come to Boys Mogappair to meet this child. So this child can write numbers in Russian, in Tajikistani, in Bulgarian. So if you look at over here, you can see this is Russian and Bulgarian. Okay. Now if you Google out, this is how it will be. It's all written by this child standing out there. Okay. So what do you think about it? What, Lakshith, what is this? You only wrote, no? Huh? You wrote this, right? What is this? You want to talk about it?
The Cyrillic alphabet.
What alphabet?
Cyrillic alphabet.
Okay. Good. Want to go sit there? Come. So he sits in the principal's room and he has a notebook. And his notebook he writes this Russian, Bulgarian, Tajikistani, right? How is this possible? Think about it. Okay. Obviously in this current Janma, in this birth, it's impossible for this child to learn all this. Okay. And over here, this particular is a Coptic language. This Coptic language is a very old, very ancient Egyptian language. Okay, it's about 6th AD or somewhere this was practiced to a small extent. It's completely extinct now. And this Coptic language also, you know, Lakshith, little bit? Yes. Right? So, remember there's always a samskar. There's a samskar. And this samskars carry with you from one life to the other. Right? Otherwise, this child born in Chennai to a very typical family, the parents are over here, the parents not Russian, they're not European, they don't come from anywhere from that part of the world. Right? For this child to be able to write these numbers in Russian, Tajikistani, Bulgarian is next to impossible. And then this language and doesn't stop over here. So you go to the next slide, right? He writes this very complex mathematical concepts, right? It's called the 2D Menger sponge and this Halayuda triangle. Halayuda triangle was once again, Halayuda was a great ancient rishi He was born the 10th century AD, right? And it's also known as a Pascal triangle, right? So he just makes this very typical, interesting, computations, drawings on his notebook. So he's a child as well. He oscillates between, being an, very learned adult and also a child. इसमें बचपना भी है और इसमें ये अलग तरह का ज्ञान जो है वो भी इसके अंदर है. ये ज्ञान जो है इसको इस जन्म में, in this particular birth, it is impossible. Yes or no? Right? So what does it mean? It means there is punarjanma. There's some samskars of the previous birth. I'm sure all of you also must have heard in your families at times, right? Some child for the first few years exactly knew what happened, क्या हुआ था, कैसे हुआ था, but then the memory tends to fade away. कुछ कुछ के लिए होता है. So if you think, वो आपने सुना होगा, but today you have a child right here in front of you who has written all this. Okay? So the Vedas, by Shabda Praman as well, they say that there is the concept of rebirth. And I just thought today, since this child is over here, though it's getting late, we said we should definitely spend 5-7 minutes for all of us to understand this from a spiritual dimension. आध्यात्मिक दृष्टिकोण से भी इसको समझना बहुत आवश्यक है कि इसका क्या बेस है, ये कहां से आता है. क्योंकि हम लोग पुनर्जन्म, if we are completely convinced about it, then there is faith, respect, and also accepting God. Otherwise, today many of us are turning atheists. कि ईश्वर सब कुछ नहीं है. There's one life, right? You come, eat, drink, make merry, and you die one day, right? But that's not the way the entire world, the entire life works. हम लोग के अंदर we have this soul, we have this atma within us, and this atma goes through a cycle of birth and death. Shri Krishna also writes in Bhagavad Gita, Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kledayanti apo, na shoshayati marutaha. Right? So look at the various shastras as well. It talks about the same thing. But that's Shabda Praman we keep hearing. Today you have a Pratyaksh Praman. Someone is standing in front of you and you can actually see, what he has written. Right? So it completely further cements our belief, our faith, our bhakti towards the Shastras and what the Vedas say, that soul is permanent in nature. And in this soul, we have this samskars. There's a difference between the two. There is one is memory and one is samskar. You call one is smriti. And one is, when you say samskar, it is impressions. So smriti or memory is gross. It is very, okay, you went that day, you learned this, it's a gross. Samskar is subtle. Right? The samskars carry forward for you from one janma to another. Right? So this child is obviously a very gifted child. We also definitely congratulate, the parents and Lakshith for sure. And I'm sure that, we are also hoping as an institution, as a society, we can help, this child grow into a very, very learned, a person who uses this particular knowledge to further the Vedic Dharma, to further the cause of this great country, of this great culture. So I just thought I will, will introduce about this child. The Vedic learning session we'll have from next week. With this, we will close today's session. We're already run quite late. We'll have the meal mantra. Are you prepared, children? You and the Shanti part? Come. Sir, meal mantra. Just get yourself quickly formed. Just come behind each other. Yeah. Just turn where you are.
Namaste. Let's start the mealtime prayer. Om Annapate nasya no dehyanami vasya shushminaha Prapradhataram Tarisha Urjanno Dehi Dvibade Chatushpade Om शान्तिरन्तरिक्षं शान्तिर्पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्ति विश्वे देवा शान्ति ब्रह्म शान्ति सर्वं शान्ति शान्तिरेव शान्ति सामा शान्तिरेधि ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः